Hey folks, today is Saturday, January 25th. The time right now is 5:10 p.m. and the temperature is not so bad, minus 1 degree Celsius. And I'm here on University Avenue, just north of Richmond Street. And that's a look to the south. And I've got to be up in Yorkville for 6 p.m. So I thought I would squeeze in a walk just before that. And I've been meaning to revisit Peter Street for a while, so that's what we're going to do. I'll be making a left here at Queen Street West as I navigate this very icy surface on the ground. And walking several blocks over to Peter Street, and then we'll head south through the entertainment district. And I also want to check out what's become of Mercer Street. Where the Wayne Gretzky's restaurant used to be, along with Second City. And that's a look to the east towards Yonge Street. And before that is Nathan Phillips Square and City Hall. But let's head west here along Queen Street West until they get to Peter. This first stretch along Queen is certainly one I've covered quite a bit. They've closed off Simcoe Street here. They're moving the facade and building entrance to the Ontario line right below it. Hopefully there's more to the land use than just a subway entrance. Metrolink's provincial agency tasked with building the Ontario line doesn't exactly have a very good track record when it comes to implementing transit projects. Crosstown LRT is now 5 years overdue. The Finch LRT is 4 years overdue. Neither of them have opening dates. I think it's safe to say the Ontario line will most certainly be delayed and over budget. On a more positive note, Queen Street's looking somewhat alive. This is the north end of the entertainment district. Okay.
There's a ramen plate.
Friendly Stranger's been there for a while. There's a lot of new restaurants in this area. There's a ramen joint. And it won't be long before it's dark out. Another ramen restaurant right beside another ramen restaurant. This is Duncan Street. former Chum building. Now owned by Bell Globe Media, and they recently moved CP24 out, but the once iconic truck is still there. Looked a little better when it was a City Pulse truck.
Like at those like.
On Peter Street, we'll be going by where the original Burrito Boys location was, as well as Bar Hop, or where Bar Hop used to be, which closed down last week, unfortunately. As we look south down John Street.
Yeah, it's this one or the next one. Doesn't matter. It's not even this one?
I'm going to take back what I said at the start of the video. It's -1. With the wind, it's actually feeling a lot colder than that right now.
I love looking at it though. Yeah.
Does he wear like long?
By the time you're watching this,
Oh, the mask.
I should be in Cancun. I just have 2 more videos to make, and I'll have enough to cover my whole trip. There's a Sonder. I stayed at a Sonder in Paddington in London. There's a number of retailers in the area that are well known. Arc'teryx, that used to be a Zara. There's a Ritzia across the street. Aldo's been on this stretch for a while. Back in the 90s, this was kind of ground zero for what was cool in the city, so to speak. There's a lot more in the way of independent retailers.
I have not a lot going on.
Just get 30 like in a second.
Very surprised Club Med has a dedicated location like that. There's Repair and Run. And Score on King. That used to be the Black Bull. If you're walking along this stretch, it's a little more pleasant on the north side of Queen Street. It has much wider sidewalks. There's Peter Pan.
Yeah.
That's his thing. Those
Yeah.
kind of concerts.
And welcome to Peter Street. It starts here at Queen Street West. Although north of Queen kind of continues as Soho. And a few blocks south of here at King, it becomes Blue Jays Way. And these days it's kind of characterized by a lot of high-rise condos that have gone up. And what looks to be a future home of Northeastern University. I don't even know what that is. But there is Bar Hop, or the former Bar Hop. Their original location is still open. just south of here. And that, as you can see, had a terrific rooftop patio. It also served as a microbrewery. The original location lives on, but that one sadly has closed its doors. I think I read in an article that they cited the pandemic for kind of starting off a bit of a tailspin. And this building here is quite fantastic. They've got this cantilever. This is 134 Peter Street. This incorporates a warehouse that was built in 1915. I wonder, can I just go in here? No. I'd be curious to get a look, but I guess there's no reason to let random vagrants like me in there. It's a really well executed property. There's a bakery and cafe on the corner. This used to be the heart of Clubland. There's a bar right there in what is now a drop-in shelter. This is Richmond Street West. Back in its heyday, by heyday, or by that I mean the club district, this area would have been packed on a Friday or Saturday night. Not quite at this hour, but a place that has since become a Toronto institution. Burrito Boys had a very popular spot in an old Victorian house that recently got torn down just up ahead. Remember going there down into the basement location many a time. Later, when the Burrito Boys owners had a falling out with each other, it became a Burrito Banditos. There's the last remnant of the row houses that were here. Where this building is, it used to be a big club. I remember it as Level, but it's gone by a number of other names. Fit Squad, strength training gym. This is Adelaide Street, where there used to be another Burrito Boys just east of here, but that one closed down a few years ago.
It's absolutely staying like.
This is Adelaide Street. That was an old school taxi hailing. And when I would come out with my friends and we would get our drink on, we would often go to a club It's right where this building now is. It was called Boulevard Room. It was almost a weekend ritual. There were a number of weekends where we would go on Friday and Saturday. My one friend had a condo just south of here at City Place. So it was a short walk. We'd often crash there. We had a den and a couch we could crash in on. And that used to be a Holiday Inn Express. This area does have a perfect walk score of 100. This is King Street West. This corner was once home to The Score. It was basically a sports ticker turned into a full-time TV station. There's the Sutton Place Hotel. They used to have a location up on Bay Street, just south of Yorkville. Now, Peter Street. Yeah, get off the sidewalk. Peter Street becomes Blue Jays Way. Leads straight down to the Skydome and got its name after their first World Series win in the early 90s, which they followed up with another win. And they haven't been back since. Isha Hotel. Back in 1993, Wayne Gretzky's opened up on this spot. They served up American-style food. There's a lot of memorabilia relating to Wayne Gretzky's career. Had one of those spinning hockey players on the roof. Coming up with the brain fart, I was trying to think of what those games are called. Bubble hockey. There we go. Gotta lead up through the Sutton Place Hotel. And just here on the right used to be the iconic home of the Second City. There's a 300-plus seat theater there. It was a training ground for comedians in the city. In fact, I think when Lorne Michaels started Saturday Night Live, he plucked a number of people from the Second City to be on SNL. And now it's home to the Nobu Hotel. As we look at Robert Redford. prior to this location, the second city was located in an old fire hall, which they outgrew. I think they moved here in 1997. That was temporarily up at the Comedy Bar on Danforth Avenue. Now they've got a new permanent home at 1 York Street. In a space that was originally supposed to be a Target. It's nice to see after 4 years or so of being just a construction zone. Mercer Street is back open. It's such a narrow street with high rises. On either side, it's always going to have kind of a dark canyon feel to it. And this is connecting us to John Street. As the sky takes on a nice twilight glow. There's the Princess of Wales Theater. I'm kind of in wandering mode now. I wanted to cover Peter Street, mission accomplished. There's a space that used to be a Tim Hortons, and now it's a Starbucks. I remember in the early 90s, there was a baseball memorabilia shop called Legends of the Game. That's where we go north up John Street. It's one of those days where I didn't really wake up. This is my first time being outside today. The street will be lively later. There's a few night spots on it. Welcome to Toronto, where you can do pretty much whatever the hell you want behind the wheel because there's no consequences.
Like classic.
Blatantly running a red light, failing to yield to a pedestrian par for the course. If I didn't have my camera in hand, that's often when you give a vehicle a nice love tap. Today's special, it's a pretty good deal. $7.85 for a burger, drink, and fries. All right, this is Duncan Street. I'm gonna head down Duncan, maybe towards King. Might be a little more going on that way. Now let's go down the other side of the street. There's no emergency vehicles coming this way. This Thai restaurant is excellent. To make a reservation well in advance. And the same goes for their Midtown location at Yonge and Eglinton. I think this is a Frank Gehry designed condo going up.
At least these are perfect.
Just running up the street with some stools. Nothing to see here, folks. It's back to King Street.
It's not having a purse.
I know.
Why is this better?
That's Roy Thompson Hall, home of the Toronto Symphony Orchestra across the street. As we walk over the Canada Walk of Fame, Michael J. Fox, John Candy, Norman Jewison, Donald Sutherland, Neil Young, Jacques Villeneuve. There's a lot more across the street as well. As we get to Simcoe Street, we're just a block away from St. Andrew Station.
Keep leading.
It's a fairly iconic view. CN Tower between Ritz-Carlton and an RBC Tower with Roy Thompson Hall in the foreground. But we are pretty much there. I'll spare you the trip down into the subway station. I hope you enjoyed this one. Do let me know your thoughts and comments down below if you wish to support what I do. There's links to my Patreon and YouTube channel membership down in the description. I have an Instagram account at Johnny Strides, and there is a super thanks button appearing down below should you wish to say thanks that way. But here we are at the edge of the entertainment district, looking into the financial district. Well, thank you so much for watching, and I will catch you in the next one. Yoink.